There are things in life that no school, no textbook, no classroom will ever teach you. They'll teach you math, history, and formulas, but they won't teach you how to rise after being broken. They won't teach you how to love yourself when the world makes you feel unworthy. Teach you how to stay strong when everything you dreamed of falls apart. Because the most powerful lessons in life, the ones that shape who you truly are, aren't taught, they're lived. Pain teaches, failure teaches, love teaches. Life itself is the greatest classroom you'll ever walk into. From the moment we're born, we're told what to say, how to act, what success should look like. But no one teaches you how to feel. No one teaches you how to handle the loneliness that comes when you chase your dream and everyone walks away. No one teaches you how to rebuild your confidence after rejection, or how to silence the voice in your head that keeps saying you're not enough. That's because the lessons that build character can't be written in books. They're carved into your soul through experience. You learn patience when life makes you wait. You learn strength when life gives you struggle. When life takes something away, you can't study your way to resilience. You earn it through every failure, every heartbreak, every disappointment that tried to break you but didn't. Every scar you carry is proof that you've lived through something no one could have prepared you for. And that's what makes you powerful. That's what gives your life depth, meaning, and strength that can't be imitated. The people who thrive in life aren't the ones who know the most. They're the ones who felt the most and kept going. They didn't wait for someone to teach them how to be courageous. They became courage in the middle of fear. They didn't wait for permission. They created purpose. You see, we live in a world obsessed with information. We think knowledge alone will change us, but knowledge without experience is just theory. Real transformation happens when life throws you into the fire and you decide to come out stronger instead of bitter. So maybe no one taught you how to believe in yourself, how to forgive, how to love again, but you can learn it through living. Every moment of pain, every loss, every setback is life handing you a lesson you can't find in any curriculum. And once you embrace that, you realize you were never behind. You were being prepared. The most important lessons in life don't come from books or classrooms. They come from the experiences that shake you, stretch you, and force you to grow in ways you never expected. School can teach you how to solve equations or remember dates, but it can't teach you how to rebuild yourself after failure. Teach you how to keep your faith when everything you planned falls apart. Those lessons come from life itself, from pain, loss, love, and struggle. These are the teachers no one signs up for, but everyone eventually meets. And when they come, they don't hand out notes or clear instructions. They hand you moments that test your patience and your strength. When you're a child, you think adults have all the answers. You believe someone, somewhere, will eventually teach you how to handle heartbreak, rejection, and fear. But then life hits you, and you realize there was no manual. You realize that people who seem the strongest didn't learn their resilience from a teacher. They learned it from surviving. Every hardship, every setback, every moment you thought you wouldn't make it through has been part of your real education. You've been learning how to rise, how to adapt, how to keep moving even when there's no applause. That's a kind of learning no institution can provide, because it doesn't come with grades, it comes with growth. The truth is, the experiences that break you often build you more than anything else ever could. You learn patience when you're forced to wait. When fear has you cornered, you learn humility when life brings you to your knees. The classroom of life doesn't give you warnings before the test. It just throws you in and waits to see what you'll do. And in those moments, you discover your true capacity. You discover that wisdom isn't memorized, it's earned. It's earned through the tears you've cried, the doubts you've faced, and the times you got back up after falling again and again. No one can really teach you how to live. They can guide you, inspire you, even warn you. But the real learning only begins when it's your turn to face the challenge. You might hear about resilience, understand it until you're forced to keep going when everything in you wants to quit. You might know the definition of love, but you won't truly grasp it until you've had to forgive when it hurt most. That's how life teaches, through direct experience. Every mistake you've made, every heartbreak, disappointment has been part of your silent education. You've been learning lessons that can't be written on a chalkboard. The world doesn't always give you a teacher. Sometimes it gives you a trial. And when you face it, you realize that the pain you tried so hard to avoid was actually the greatest instructor you could ever have. We grow up in a world that teaches us how to make a living, but not how to build a life. We're taught to chase success, not fulfill a line, to accumulate knowledge, not wisdom. From childhood, we're conditioned to follow systems, study hard, get good grades, secure a job, but nobody teaches what to do when, after all that, we still feel empty. Nobody teaches us how to handle the storm inside, how to manage the weight of our emotions, or how to find peace when the world around us feels chaotic. That's not taught, because emotional intelligence isn't measured by exams. It's developed through awareness, pain, and experience. We live in an achievement-driven society that rarely pauses to ask, how do I feel? Or, am I truly fulfilled? Schools train the mind, but few teach the heart. We learn how to communicate, but not how to connect. We're taught how to argue a point, but not how to listen with empathy. We're told to dream big, but not how to handle failure when those dreams collapse. And so people grow up successful on paper, but lost in spirit, high, achieving yet unfulfilled, surrounded by people yet feeling deeply alone. The truth is, fulfillment requires understanding yourself on a level that no curriculum can cover. Emotional intelligence, knowing how to process pain, manage anger, and choose love over ego is one of the most vital life skills, yet it's the one most ignored. We aren't taught how to sit with discomfort, so we avoid it. We aren't taught how to communicate our needs, so we suppress them. We aren't taught how to forgive, so we carry resentment. You face those emotions instead of escaping them. You grow in ways no classroom could prepare you for. Emotional growth isn't found in lessons. It's found in moments of truth. When your heart breaks, when your plans fail, when your confidence shatters, that's when you're being taught the most powerful lessons of your life. Education begins the moment you start paying attention to what life is trying to teach you through your emotions. When you feel anger, it's showing you where you need boundaries. When you feel sadness, it's showing you what you value deeply. When you feel jealousy, it's showing you what you desire but haven't yet claimed. Emotions are signals, not weaknesses. They're your body's way of helping you understand yourself, but we're so focused on what's outside, career, validation, status, that we forget to look within. Life mastery begins when you realize that success without emotional growth is still failure. You can have all the money, power, and recognition in the world, but if you can't control your emotions, you'll still be at the mercy of your pain. Emotional intelligence is the invisible foundation of everything meaningful. It determines how you love, how you lead, how you heal. And while it's not taught in schools, it's taught every single day by life if you're willing to listen. In life, we are taught to chase stability, to seek safety, to avoid risk. But no one teaches us how to handle uncertainty. No one prepares us for the times when the path disappears, when everything we thought was secure suddenly shifts beneath our feet. To have plans, to stay consistent, to know what's next, but real life rarely unfolds that neatly. The truth is, uncertainty is not a mistake in your journey. It is your journey. It's the fire that forges strength, adaptability, and faith. But because it's not taught, most people fear it. They resist it. Uncertainty paralyzes them instead of allowing it to shape them. Uncertainty exposes who you truly are when the structure of your plans falls away. It strips you of control and demands trust, not in the world, but in yourself. It teaches you to move forward even when the path isn't clear. It forces you to stop depending on predictability and start depending on your inner resourcefulness. That's something no teacher can give you, no book can outline. It's a lesson you only learn when life throws you into the unknown and whispers, figure it out. In those moments, you discover that growth doesn't come from certainty, it comes from courage. When everything feels unstable, your instinct might be to pull back, to play it safe, to wait for the perfect conditions. But waiting for certainty before taking action is a trap. Growth doesn't wait for guarantees. Every major breakthrough, every great achievement, every transformation began with someone stepping into uncertainty. Without knowing what would happen next, you learn by doing, not by knowing. You evolve by trusting that you'll figure it out as you go. That trust in yourself becomes your true foundation, stronger than any plan you could ever create. The beauty of uncertainty is that it forces creativity. It makes you resourceful. When there's no roadmap, you start to listen to your instincts. You start making decisions from intuition rather than fear. That's when you grow the most. When life demands that you adapt, think differently, and believe in possibilities that don't yet exist. But comfort never created change. The unknown does. Every challenge you've faced, every detour, every disruption has been a disguised invitation to evolve. What no one teaches you is that uncertainty is where magic happens. It's where you discover your resilience, your purpose, your hidden potential. When you stop resisting the unknown, you start dancing with it. You begin to see that uncertainty isn't chaos. It's creation. It's life rearranging itself to align with who you're becoming. And yes, it's scary. It's unpredictable. But it's also where you grow into the person you were always meant to be. While certainty may feel safe, it's uncertainty that gives your life meaning. It teaches you that faith isn't believing everything will go your way. It's believing that no matter what happens, you'll find your way. And that lesson, though never taught, is the one that truly sets you free. We live in a world that celebrates knowledge but rarely honors understanding. We're taught how to think, how to analyze, how to memorize, but not how to truly see. We know how to chase goals, but we don't always know how to connect with purpose. That's because true understanding doesn't come from external education. It comes from awareness, from paying attention to yourself, your patterns, your energy. Life keeps giving us the same lessons until we learn them, but most people are too distracted to notice. They repeat the same mistakes, attract the same kind of people, and face the same pain, thinking they're unlucky. But life isn't punishing them, it's teaching them. The problem is no one ever taught them how to listen. Awareness is one of the most powerful skills a human can develop, yet it's almost never taught. You can't change what you don't see, you can't heal what you don't acknowledge, you can't grow beyond patterns you refuse to recognize. Awareness begins with slowing down, observing your reactions, and asking, why am I feeling this way? It's about learning to pause before you respond, to reflect instead of react. That's where transformation starts, when you realize that life isn't just happening to you, it's responding through you. Every situation, every challenge, every person you meet is a mirror reflecting something about you. Once you start seeing those reflections clearly, you stop blaming the world and start evolving yourself. The moment awareness enters your life, everything changes. You begin to notice the subtle ways you sabotage your own happiness. You catch yourself when you're operating from fear instead of love. You start identifying the emotions driving your choices, the wounds behind your words, the stories behind your silence. This self-awareness turns pain into insight and chaos into clarity. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? You begin asking, what is this trying to teach me? That shift in perspective is what separates those who grow from those who stay stuck. When you become more aware, you also become more compassionate. You start understanding others because you've started understanding yourself. You stop judging so quickly because you recognize that everyone is fighting invisible battles. Awareness softens your edges and deepens your humanity. It makes you more intentional with your energy, more patient with your journey, and more aligned with your truth. You stop living reactively and start living consciously. The irony is awareness seems simple, but it's one of the hardest things to practice in a world full of noise. We're surrounded by distractions that pull us away from ourselves. Phones, opinions, expectations, routines. But when you return to awareness, you return to power, because awareness gives you choice, and choice gives you freedom. Once you learn to observe your mind instead of being controlled by it, you step into mastery. That's the lesson no one teaches, but life itself insists. You learn that awareness is the bridge between who you are and who you're meant to become. We're all taught how to chase success, but almost no one teaches us how to handle failure. Early age, we're told to aim high to win, to achieve, but not how to rise when things don't go our way. We're taught to celebrate victories, not to understand defeats. And because of that, when failure arrives, and it always does, it breaks many people. They see it as proof that they're not enough, instead of recognizing it as one of life's greatest teachers. Failure isn't the opposite of success, it's part of it. It's the process that builds the mindset, resilience, and clarity you need to truly succeed. Failure is the test that reveals who you are beyond comfort. When everything is going right, you don't really grow. When life pulls the ground out from under you, when plans collapse, relationships end, or efforts don't pay off, that's when you discover what you're made of. It's in those moments that you learn patience, humility, and self-belief. Failure strips away illusions. It humbles the ego and forces you to look inward. It teaches you that strength doesn't come from perfection, it comes from perseverance. The truth is, failure teaches you things success never will. Success often whispers, failure shouts. It shows you your weaknesses, your blind spots, your limits, but also your potential. It makes you reevaluate your priorities, your methods, your mindset. It forces you to slow down and reconnect with your why. Many people fear failure so much that they never start. They stay safe, never realizing that safety itself becomes the biggest risk. Because by avoiding failure, you also avoid growth. The people who succeed at the highest level aren't the ones who avoid failure. When you shift your perspective, you begin to see failure differently. You stop asking, why did this happen to me? And start asking, what is this preparing me for? Every setback becomes feedback. Every mistake becomes a message. Life is constantly shaping you through contrast, showing you what doesn't work so you can discover what does. The pain you feel from failure isn't there to break you, it's there to refine you. It's burning away what's no longer serving your future. The key is not to attach your identity to failure. You may fail at something. There's a difference. The moment you separate your self-worth from your results, you reclaim your power. You can analyze, adjust, and grow without shame. You can start again with wisdom instead of fear. Every great leader, innovator, and creator you admire has failed many times. But they learn to see failure not as an ending, but as information. When you stop fearing failure, you start living freely, because then nothing can truly stop you. Every fall becomes fuel. And every failure becomes a foundation for something greater than before. That's a lesson no one teaches, but life makes sure you learn it. One of the most powerful truths in life is that growth never happens by accident, it happens through reflection. We go through so many experiences, but few people ever stop to ask what those experiences were meant to teach them. We rush from one goal to another, relationship to the next, without truly pausing to process what we've learned or how we've changed. No one teaches us the importance of reflection. We're taught to move forward, to be productive, keep pushing, but not to pause. Yet it's in the pause where transformation begins. Reflection turns experience into wisdom. Without it, you repeat patterns. With it, you evolve. When you take time to reflect, you give yourself the chance to connect the dots between your actions and your outcomes. You start noticing patterns, why certain situations keep reappearing, why similar people keep entering your life, why the same challenges keep testing you. Life will repeat the lesson until you learn it, and reflection is how you finally do. It's how you turn pain into purpose, confusion into clarity. You start to realize that everything that's happened, every setback, every detour, every heartbreak, has been shaping you into the person you're becoming. But you can only see that when you slow down long enough to look back. Reflection also builds gratitude. When you pause to look at your journey, you see how far you've come. You recognize the storms you've survived, the versions of yourself you've outgrown, and the strength you didn't even know you had. Gratitude naturally grows out of that awareness. Instead of focusing on what's missing, you start appreciating what's been gained, the lessons, the growth, the resilience. That shift in focus changes your energy. Gratitude doesn't just make you happier, it makes you more grounded, more patient, capable of creating from a place of peace instead of pressure. The power of reflection is that it aligns you with intention. Most people live reactively. They move based on circumstance rather than choice. Reflection flips that. It helps you understand what truly matters to you, what drives you, what drains you. It clarifies your values and helps you make decisions that are in harmony with who you are, not who the world expects you to be. That's how you begin to live with purpose, not by doing more, but by understanding more. Reflection isn't just thinking about the past. It's learning from it so you can live better in the present. It's looking at your wounds with curiosity instead of judgment. It's asking, what did this teach me about myself? Instead of, why did this happen to me? That shift in questioning changes everything. When you reflect deeply, you stop being a passenger in your story and start being the author. You begin to move through life with clarity, with awareness, not autopilot. And that's the kind of growth that lasts, the kind that no one teaches you, but life insists you discover for yourself. So don't be angry that no one taught you how to do this. Be grateful that life trusted you to learn it firsthand. Because the greatest wisdom doesn't come from teachers, it comes from experience, it comes from falling, failing, and finding your way back up stronger than before. Everything that truly matters, courage, faith, love, resilience, purpose, it's not taught, it's earned. It's yours. So stop waiting for someone to show you how to live. You already know. Because the truth is, life itself has been your teacher all along. You just had to start listening.